Ferris Coffee. Brewing Series. Coffee and Nuts. We're making coffee and stuff.
How's it going, guys? I'm Jack, and I'm one of your baristas over at Ferris Coffee, and today we're going to be learning how to brew with the Chemex. I love the Chemex personally because not only does it function as a brewer, but also as a decanter, so you can brew straight into it and serve right out of it to your friends or family, or just yourself. So the things you're going to need to brew with this are, first and foremost, your Chemex, coffee, obviously. I'm using an awesome new fresh crop Kenya we have called Thuriqua. It's really complex and kind of changes a ton and moves across your mouth, really caramely and juicy. You're going to need a grinder to grind your coffee, bonded paper filter. Chemex makes these specifically for their brewer. You need a scale with a timer. If you don't have one with a timer, you can just use your phone. Gooseneck kettle. I like to use one that's electric because you can take it anywhere and it'll heat itself. A couple mugs for you and your friends, and something to grind your coffee into. So, first step when you're brewing, you're going to take your filter and open it up so that there's 3 sheets on one side and 1 on the other. You're going to take your Chemex and line it up so that the side with 3 are next to the spout. And you're going to take some of that water that's hot and pre-wet your filter. This is just going to rinse your filter out, get some of that papery, gluey taste out, as well as warm your brewer up. Once you're done pre-wetting, you're going to want to grind your coffee. So, take your little cup, tear your scale out, and weigh out 50 grams of whole bean coffee. You're going to want to grind this to a pretty coarse grind for pour over. Nothing too crazy, but definitely on the coarser side of medium. Grinders are loud. Cool. So after you grind your coffee, you're going to want to take your brewer and get all that extra water out of there. So I actually recommend pouring it out of the opposite side from the spout through the paper filter to wet it a little more, and that actually helps it vacuum out. So I'm just going to hold it with my hand a little bit and pour all the way out. If you don't have a sink nearby, you can just use a mug or something. So now you're going to take that, put it on your scale, make sure it's all tared out at 0, and weigh out 50 grams of coffee into your brewer. Awesome. You're going to give your brewer just a little shake to make sure that your coffee bed is nice and flat, and go ahead and tear your scale one more time. Now before we start brewing, let's make sure our water is nice and hot, and our first step is going to be our bloom. So with any pour over, you're going to want to bloom with about double the dose of coffee. So for this one, I'm going to use 100 grams. So I'm going to start my scale and just slowly pour 100 grams of water, making sure I'm saturating all the grounds evenly so that they can start off-gassing and just get them started with their extraction. You're going to see a lot of bubbles come up from the coffee bed at this point. That's just the carbon dioxide kind of releasing from the coffee as it degasses. The nice thing about this recipe is after the bloom, each water add is 200 grams, so you're going to go up to 300, 500, and finally 700. That's going to get us to a brew ratio of 14 grams of water for every 1 gram of coffee, which is going to result in a pretty strong brew, but one with a lot of awesome body and thickness behind it. Sick. It's been a minute. Now we're going to pour in about 200 grams of water. This is going to bring our total brew weight up to 300 grams. At around 1:45, you're going to take your kettle and add another 200 grams of water, getting us up to 500 grams. When you're adding water to a pour over, you're going to want to make sure that you're hitting the coffee bed and not the walls of the brewer, so that way your water is going to hit all of your coffee and extract it rather than sliding past it on the outside. Once our timer shows around 2 minutes 45 seconds, we're going to take our water and add the final 200 grams, bringing our total brew weight up to 700 grams. You want to aim for a brew time of around 4.5 to 5 minutes. If you find that you're shorter than this, it probably means that your grind's too coarse, and if your brew time's going longer, you're probably too fine on your grind size. Now that all your water's in, you can go ahead and wait for your coffee to draw down.
Do you see the coffee?
It's cheesy. Oh God. All right, looks like our water's all the way through our filter. So we're just gonna grab it by the corners here, pop it out, let it drip a couple times, and throw it in the trash. Or if you like, you can compost, and that'd be even cooler. Huh. Nailed it. Wanna give your coffee a good swish, get everything mixed around in there, and you're all set. This will make about 2 or 3 cups of coffee. It's perfect for sharing with friends, or if you just really need a lot of coffee for yourself. Sometimes that's me. It's really hot, but it's good.